Okay, so we're here in Blender, and you can hear my computer screaming at that fact. Um, we're going to talk about rigging our avatar. So the first thing we're going to need to do is, one, turn on the screencast so you guys can see what I'm doing. Alright, so next we're going to need to bring in our avatar, the mesh that we want to rig to the skeleton, our avatar, so to say. And we're going to start with the very basic, and that is Tipos Rigging, where we're not moving the skeleton or anything. It's just straight T-pose to T-pose, rig, and then weight paint. So let's bring in our model. So you're going to go to the top, and I'm going to do File, Import, Collada Day, or whatever it is, and I'm going to use the Team Flare grunt as an example for this, because I know a majority of people are going to model resource to grab on that stuff, so I might as well show you how to deal with stuff like that. So you see our characters here, and she's in the T-pose, and she has her own skeleton that came in with her because this is a day and it was already rigged. We can't use the skeleton here in Second Life, so we're just going to get rid of it. So just click on the bones that are here, and you're going to press delete, and then it's going to say, are you sure, or okay, and then you hit delete. And most of the time when you delete a skeleton from one of these models or something like that, they usually just blow up. So it's not a big deal. Don't be alarmed if you see your character stretch up to the sky. So I'm going to click on her, and I'm going to press the S key, and that enables scale, and I'm just going to drag it down until she gets down to something reasonable that we can see. Okay, once she's in this nice little state, we're going to press Control A and then rotation and scale, and I don't know, I was just told that was a good thing to do. I know it helps with some models, but you know, whatever, better to apply than not apply. That's my rule. So we have her down here, but we can't really tell how big or how small she is. We want to make make this avatar about the default Second Life scale. We don't want to make it too big where it's almost comical, or too small where it's like, you know, way down here. So how we can judge scale is by going to a new layer and adding in Avastar. It doesn't matter if it's quads or triangles, either or serves the same purpose. Okay, so this is the default Second Life avatar scale, the default lady scale. Although, you know, ladies nowadays are like super tall monster things, but this is the default Second Life scale by, you know, default. So you have now a ruler to see how tall our avatar is. So when we press A and deselect everything, hold down Shift and go over to the first layer, you'll see just how tall or how short your avatar is in comparison to the default Second Life scale. So that's neat, yeah? Alright, so our avatar, our Team Flare grunt back here, is a little bit shorter than the Second Life avatar. But that's okay. I think I really want it to be a little bit shorter. So a good thing to do is to line your avatar up with your model here, and there are multiple ways of doing this. One way is you can just click on the bones here, the default avatar bones. You can press S and you can just scale it down to match up like this way. Make sure everything lines up. Or if they have longer arms or things like that, like see, the hand fits here, so actually I don't think we need to adjust the skeleton at all. This is actually perfect. But if we did have to adjust the skeleton, the best way to do it is to, I think, click on the bones, then go into the object panel, which is this little cube here, and you're going to scroll down until you see avatar appearance, and you would just use this like the default Second Life character shape creator, and you would stretch the shape to make it match the avatar better. So like if you wanted to make the arms longer, you would scroll the arms up, and you want to get the hands and wrists and stuff there to the right position, or you want to make the hand size huge. It all helps when it comes to like transferring the weights properly. So the better the Avastar matches the general shape of the character, the better the transfer will go when you do the Avastar weight transfer. So I actually need to make the neck a little bit longer because the head is like starting here within the neck, and I don't like that. So actually we do need to change it. So we're going to go up here where it says neck length, and I'm going to stretch the head and neck up a little bit more, so like this. So I think I'm okay with this layout for the character. So once we have everything all set up, to where we're satisfied with it, you're going to press A and deselect everything. Then you're going to click on the mesh. Then you're going to hold down Shift, and you're going to select the loops or the bones. And then we're going to go over to the Avatar panel, and you're going to click Skinning. And this is where I come into conflict with people. See this box here that says attach sliders or don't attach sliders. Well, sliders in Avastar are a simulation of how the appearance sliders work in Second Life. So it's like it's simulating that whole process or so in here. But it does cause a few problems when you have it enabled. Like, I can give you a perfect example of its problem causing. Do you remember when we did the tutorial on the XNALara, when I did the G1 update, and when we changed the shape, you saw the hands snap back into the body or so? That's because the skeleton was at a certain place here when the sliders were attached. So whenever you go to change it or do something like that, it's going to snap back to that initial position or something, and that's just a pain in the butt. So I tend to turn attached sliders off to avoid it. So if you keep encountering a problem where your skeleton is like shrinking back in or jumping over there, it's a good chance it's the sliders that's causing it. So, little fun thing. It's up to you if you want to check sliders or not, but I like to leave it unchecked. Okay, so the long explanation aside, we're just going to press bind to armature, and you see that the avatar has been bound to the skeleton. So now we get to test it out and see how much work we're going to have to do when it comes to weight painting. So just click on your the bones, the loops here, and we're going to go from object mode to pose mode. Then we're going to click on the loops again, and we're going to press the R key and just rotate it and see how it moves and if it moves to what you like. So for the most part, I'm fairly satisfied with the way it moves, because we lined it up so well. We got a really good weight transfer onto the body. But there are some errors. You see when we move your arm here, the collar, zoom in, the collar moves as well, and it really shouldn't. I mean, unless you want it that way, but it really shouldn't move. This collar is stationary. So we can try moving the head and everything and see how that works out. And everything is pretty okie doke. So what we're going to want to do is get rid of the Avastar skeleton right now, because we don't need it. I mean, not Avastar skeleton, the Avastar meshes. Let me see. There was a button in here somewhere that lets you just hide the shapes. Let me see. But I don't want to do that because I may need this transfer something later. Damn you, Gaia. Quit moving stuff around. So give me a second to scan around through all this garbage. Well, is it in scanning? Click on the mesh itself. Well, I forgot what box that was. But I like to just do it manually up here in the avatar thing, and the Avastar meshes, and then just close all the eyes. Whoops, that's me. That needs to stay. So close all the eyes, and we'll get rid of the Avastar meshes because they're kind of sort of in the way. Alright, so now we have to go into our weight painting. Knew that was coming. And for the most part, it's bending really nice. So we don't have to do a full weight paint, just a touch up. So the next thing we're going to do is click on our avatar here, and we're going to go into object mode. If I can, I actually turned it off, my bad. Alright, so now we click on our avatar and we go into weight paint mode, and we're going to click on the bones here, and we're going to switch it over from animation mode, which is what Avastar is currently in, into skinning mode. So one more time, click on the loops, go to the Avastar panel, go to appearance, tools? No, rigging. There you go. Click on rigging, and you want to press the skin button. So when you have the skin button, you just click on the body and then the bones, and then you can see all the weight. So remember what I said about weight painting? Hotter, the redder / hotter it is, the more control the bone has over the mesh, and the colder / bluer it is, the less control the bone has over the mesh. So we're going to click on the arm, and we're going to press R, and you can see it has some heat on the collar, and that's why it has control over it. We're just going to go into tools and then turn the weight to 0, turn the radius up a little bit, down a little bit, strength to 100, and we're going to cool off that heat that it has, and you see that that bone no longer controls the collar, like so. And you want to do the same thing for the arm. Actually, there's a reason why I told you that you need sparkles for this tutorial. I'm going to press Control Z, and I'm going to put this weight back on the collar so you can see. We're going to press A and select all the bones, and then do Alt R, and that should put it back in a default T pose. Then we're going to select this arm bone that has weight here on the collar. Now we know the opposite arm bone is already weighted perfectly, so when we move it, the collar doesn't move. Now say for some reason we forgot how we did that and we don't want to do it all the way on this side. Well, Avastar has a feature that allows you to mirror the weights from one bone to the other. The problem with this is sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it may give you a better result than what you did. But the key to it, and most part, is that it has to be a symmetrical kind of mesh. So if for some reason this part of the geometry was pulled up a little bit higher, it wouldn't work as well as it could when it's symmetrical. Or it might give you an error. So this really works when you have a symmetrical mesh. So what I'm going to do is click on the opposite bone, which is this right here, and I'm going to go onto the Avastar panel. Or is it tools? Oh yeah, it's here in tools. It's in tools. So I'm going to go here into tools, and I'm just going to scroll down until you see this. It says weight tools, and it says mirror opposite bone. Now you're going to click on the drop menu that's right here, and you're going to choose shape, and then you're going to press mirror opposite bones, and you see it's the same thing. So now when we press R, it does this. And that just showed me that I actually have some weight right here on this that I don't like. So we can actually pinpoint this little triangle thing here and edit that directly by using the face masking tool. So you can choose that, and you can just click on the triangle, and we're going to make the radius huge, and we can just erase the weight that's there. Okay, so when we're done, you just press M again, and then A, and then Alt R, get it back into that T pose. We're going to click on that bone once more, and then we're going to press that button one more time, the opposite mesh bone button, and then do that. So now it's identical and we don't have to do it twice. So yay with that. If you get an error and it doesn't work, just go down the line and see if any of those work for you. If not, then well, I guess you're going to have to manually weight paint it. So we're looking at this, we're looking at that, zooming this around. I actually don't want any weight on the collar at all. I don't think that should be moving, or should it move? I'm not sure. I haven't worn a collar, a high collar jacket in a long time. Not since my, what school was that? Middle school, uniform days. Pop that collar and look cool. Alright, so, maybe we can just remove the weight from there. I don't think the collar should move with your neck. So I'm just going to erase the weight here. And if you're worried about hitting it, removing weight from something you want, just use the masking tool, and you can just remove the weight like that. But remember, in order to export, Avastar won't let anything have no weight. So even though we're removing the weights from here, from the neck, like a neck control on this, we have to put it on something else. So I guess I'll just put weight from the, what's it called, chest bone on that. which makes a little bit more sense. So I'll turn that off, press R, rotate that. I actually think that's a little cool. Alright. Oops! You don't want to rotate the whole avatar. Alright, so I'm going to grab the chest, and we're going to put some weight here. And I actually think I'm going to leave some unweighted just to show you guys how to deal with that. Your stuff is exporting in the wrong your stuff is exporting without weight terror. So that's pretty much weight painting and rigging it. Now we go into exporting. So I'm going to hit object mode, and I'm just going to select the mesh. We don't need to select the bones. And we're going to go File, Export, and Avastar. And desktop, and I'm going to name this Team Flare. Though I'm tempted to say Team Flare bitches, because that's usually what happens with that. Let's see, turn off my caps. .d and hit Cloud Avastar. I thought it was going to give me an error about that neck. Well, mystery of life. So once we have it exported, let's import it back into Second Life. I'm going to reload my default roof shape so I'm not all deformed and stuff. So test female. Okay. And now we're going to import our stuff. So file, upload, mesh, and Team Flare. And we're just going to scroll down. Make sure low and lowest are 0. That helps out a lot. And my skin weights are not there. So let's go investigate and see what's up with that. So we're going to go back into Blender. We're going to see what the hell, man.